You are looking live at the North Carolina Speedway here. It is time for Rockingham action, the Carolina Dodge Dealers 150 in the Grainger Truck Series. It is Dodge that is going to be our main storyline heading into this race. We have multiple Dodges. Top 3 in points are in fact all Dodge, and the first one right there is points leader Jared Bedard. He is rolling off in 38th. Not a good start for him. Seth Morgan in the 42 is second in points, and third was Chase Christ in the 58, but he is no longer driving in the series. In his place is one of the numerous subs this weekend. The number 58 is now piloted by Freya, daughter of Iceland. Jacqueline Concepcion is also making her USARC GTS debut in the 05 truck for 555 Engineering as well. But the big storyline is Toyota, and on the pole, it is the number 15 for Louisville Motorsports of Caden Lemon, also on debut. And overall, despite it being the Carolina Dodge Dealers 150, it is Chevy and Toyota, the two manufacturers still searching for a race win, that have dominated here in qualifying. We'll see if they can come out on top.
Drivers, start your engines.
And the command has been given here at Rockingham. 40 trucks come to life. Our first full grid here in Grainger Truck Series history. And taking a look at your starting grid on the pole, as we said, it is debutant Caden Lemon in the 15 for Louisville Motorsports. The highest starting Toyota Tundra in our field. 2 is outside, is the 89 of Aiden Smith for Morris Motorsports. Sleek and Swift in that 89. Row 2 sees Mina Truex and Stephen Colon. Colon is making his GTS debut tonight in the number 2 truck for Daytona. Then it is Peter Onjak, our Season 1 Cup champion. 2 is outside, one of his own trucks, the 41 of Chris Martins. A great qualifying run for his second attempt. And then Anthony Greenman and Sean McHale behind. And Lotus Espirito and Brandon Smith round the top 10. Pace car is off. Standby for action here from Rockingham. And the green flag is out here. We are racing. And it's Lemon that's going to get away well into turn 1. Truex follows Aiden Smith. Peter Onjak trying to search for his first GTS win. Still winless so far on the campaign in the Aaron's Pro Cup Series. He slots into third. Anthony Greenman, Lotus Espirito leading that inside line, as is Daniel Sels as well. We didn't mention, but this is a new entry for Ronnie Hank Racing, the number 57, as Austin Scott has taken over full-time duties of the number 97. Sels will be fielding this truck for the rest of the season, as Smith looks like he might have tagged them all there, going 3 wide with McHale and Kyler Sustry in the 01 truck. Oh, very close there between Don Falconer in the 86 and McHale in the 08, but we stay green for now. As looking back down the field, we have one more debutant in the field. That is the 18 of Derek Petty. Late call up to replace Kyle Roberts, but he is also here and running around where his teammate Carter Schwab is. It's been a pretty rough start so far for the Blue Panther Motorsports truck program. And at the back, Jared Bedard, a lot of work to do for our points leader so far, and he is not making the progress he needs to, as they are 4 wide up there, I think, for a second. We've kept it all clean, but this is not the start that Bedard wants. Meanwhile, up front, it is now all of our Cup regulars. Peter Onjak's taken the lead away from Caden Lemon. Greenman's moved into second, and Disperito into third. Mina Truex, our highest running truck regular, in 4th. So move on to lap 5 of 79. Greenman looks like he's thought about trying to set up a move, but Onjak can drive the corners so much better than any of the other trucks here, and he is scooting away so far in that 14 truck. There's Greenman holding onto second, Disperito onto third, but here comes Mina Truex. Limited sponsorship on that 19 truck. This is American Floof Motorsports, their only truck in the field. They also have a 3-car Aaron's Pro Cup Series program. But Truex has definitely shown some promise so far. She's had some really good runs, and putting on another good one here today as she battles with Daniel Self and Brandon Smith for 4th. Kyler Sustrai and Zachary DeLello getting in on the fight. Here comes our Daytona race winner. Depending on how good this run is, considering that most of his competition is further back in the field, as there's Seth Morgan battling with the 2 555 debutantes of Freya Eridater and Jacqueline Concepcion. This could be a great points day for Zachary DeLello, and could put him back into the GTS points lead for the first time since losing it at Michigan. But out front, it is 2 Cup regulars doing battle, Peter Onjak versus Anthony Greenman. These two have definitely left the field behind. Greenman wasn't originally supposed to be running in this 5 truck. It was supposed to be Nathan Ecker. Ecker split with then Silverwolf Racing before it was announced the merger with LWH Racing to form 555, and Greenman got tabbed to fill in. It's been a bit of a rough start to the season so far, but this is a really promising result so far going for Greenman in a 5 truck that desperately needs some momentum. But for now, he is still stuck behind that 14 of Peter Onjak. That truck is driving really good right now. As once again at the back, Jared Bedard is making absolutely no progress. Back with the likes of Skylar Taylor, Rhodes Gray, and Will Parrish. He is currently sitting dead last, so this is likely, barring some very insane circumstances, going to be, at least for now, the end of Bedard's points lead. Just looking our way back through the field, we've got some battling here. I believe this is just outside the top 20. Actually, just inside the top 10, my apologies. Stephen Colon with Nick Breeding and Caleb Evans, Roberto Crown Jr. also in on this fight. As you see, Brandon Morris also trying to work his way through the field in the number 12 truck for Onge Auto. Daniel Sells, Caden Lemon have also dropped back here, as is Chris Martins. Outside line was not the favored line on the initial race start, but we've seen that, especially with like race leader Peter Onjak, it's sort of been a middle favored, as you can see there off of turn 4, as he's leaving Greenman in the dust. Mina Truex has now been caught, and Kyler Sustra is going to move into the 4th position. DeLello into 5th. As now Brandon Smith trying to do battle with the 19 truck. Don Falconer, a really good run currently going for that Fleur-de-Lis Motorsports number 86 truck. He's just outside the top 30 in owner's points, and while that doesn't mean anything right now, we haven't had a field over 40 trucks try to make a race, it could mean something later, and especially for next season. So a good run, definitely what he needs. He's currently ahead of our Road America winner. Only non-Dodge so far to find victory lane, that is Nick Breeding in the 11 truck. But as of right now, it is a Chevy that is leading the way, as Peter Onjak this time around moving on to lap 15 had his lead cut by 0.3 of a second by the chasing Anthony Greenman. Lotus Disparito also has broken away from the pack. Then we do have a battle for the 5th position between Kyler Sustrai, who is not making his GTS debut, but his first run in this 01 truck, and Zachary DeLello. Though Sustrai looks like he's not running that sort of middle high line as well as the likes of Peter Onjak, and Mina Truex is now closing in on this battle. Or rather attempting to in that 19 truck. Further back, Falconer and Breeding, this battle is heating up. Oh, look at the run that the 86 got off of turn 2. Breeding leading quite a few trucks on that inside. Caleb Evans, Nigel Smith, Roberto Crown Jr. as Crown dipped onto the apron there to put it 3 wide on Smith and Morris. Cologne, Lemon, and McHale all in on this fight as well. Morris really, I think, is going to get the short end of the stick of this one, as he's still 3 wide, almost in the wall. As Salsa's cleared Cologne, but now the 12 is going to keep falling back. The outside is, or at least the far outside, is really not where you want to be through 3 and 4. And backwards is going the 12th truck currently of Brandon Morris. As back up at the front, Mina Truex continuing to hang on to this scrap for the final spots in the top 5 with Sustrai and DeLello. And Greenman has been catching someone as, oh, that is a Yekaterina Suleimanova in the 77. That truck has stalled. Looked like an engine has gone on the 77, but I don't think we've got a yellow. Nope. The driver of the 77 able to pull the truck off the racing surface, and we are going to stay green. And good thing, because Anthony Greenman has caught Peter Onjak. As they do battle into turn 1. Don't know the reason of the retirement, but definitely caught smoke coming out of the back of the 77 truck. A certainly devastating loss for that Astana Kazakhstan racing team in what has been just a very rough season for them so far. As on to lap 21, Greenman still hounding Onjak for this race lead. That's allowing Lotus Disparito and the 07 truck to close in. They're looking for their first win in any USARC event since the very first, the season 1 Aaron's 300 at Daytona. In the APCS, they have been winless since. They're running third here at Rockingham, as it looks like that they are still trying to get that 77 sorted and potentially back out on track. But for all intents and purposes, that is day done for that team. And that is good news for J.R. Bedard, because it means he is no longer running in last place. He is only 39th, but still not the run that he needs right now. As Greenman really fell off that past lap. Dropped from right on him to now a second behind on Jack. That's one thing that these trucks have proven to be, is very yo-yo-y. You'll gain a lot on a truck over one lap, get up to them, and then if you mess up even once, it's already going to go back out to a 1 second advantage. So Greenman's going to have to do all of the hard work over again, as he is hunting down Peter Onjak. That 5 definitely looks like the faster truck, but I think that Onjak's just been putting up too stout of a defense so far for Greenman. Disparito, oh, and Greenman really wide through turn 2. Almost got up into the wall. Wonder if the tires are starting to go on this 5 truck, as he's pushing to try to catch the 14 again, running probably a bit wide for his liking, though Disparito running a similar line. Can Zachary DeLello, Kyler Sustrai, or Mina Truex get up in this mix? That's 3 wide. This is for the final spot in the top 10. Nick Breeding, Caden Lemon, Stephen Cologne, and that's very close between Breeding Andrew Niku and Roberto Crown Jr. Almost contact. 64 Graham Radval having a really good run up here. The lone Joe Zeller truck has really struggled so far this season. Good to see him up here. Looking back out front, the gap has once again closed back down 0.4 of a second for the lead. As Greenman now running a really low line through 3 and 4. Looks like he's really trying to experiment to see what the truck can give him, as it's an ignition problem for Suleimanova in the 77. Day done, and they will be our last place finisher. And Brandon Smith getting under Mina Truex. This is for the 6th position. It's been a strugglesome season for the Soaring Seagulls racing team in the Truck Series. Minus Nick Breeding's win at Road America, not much else has gone right for this team. So it is good to see the 01 and the 1 running pretty well, as things haven't quite calmed down in the battle just outside the top 10, but they are somewhat. So you run down through the field. Aiden Smith, he is really dropped back from the outside pole. He is all the way back to 36th at the last timing and scoring update. Clearly that 89 truck is not handling how the driver wants, as he's currently battling with Orson Billion, J.R. Bedard, and Carter Swab. Oh, and Swab looked like he might have gave Bedard a shot there through 1 and 2, trying to root the 55 up from the bottom. Mika Papega has starting to slowly fall off the paces. Onjak once again extends his lead out to 1.5 seconds. So we're going to keep searching for battles. The field is really starting to string out. Crown going backwards. He's now behind Seth Morgan. And Morgan in the 42 truck has been going forwards, as has both the 06 of Jet Hawksworth and the 18 of Derek Petty. Both of these trucks started pretty far down the order. 22 of Rhodes Gray up here as well. 06 of Hawksworth. This is his second race in the GTS. Finished 4th at Road America, a really good result. Now sitting on just inside, or just outside rather, the top 20. Definitely not an ovals guy, but could have a good run on the cards for still that very new Babylon Motorsports team. As it's now 2 seconds out front for Peter Onjak. We have gone 33 laps so far under green flag conditions. We'll see if a pit stop is needed as we move on to lap 34, and Onjak is really on it now, gaining another half a second, so it's 2.5 seconds now the lead for Peter Onjak. We got a battle here between Mina Truex and Don Falconer. This is for the 7th position. Caleb Evans also in on this battle. As you see, they're really running the low line, but the trucks are very much washing up through 3 and 4. Caden Lemon, Stephen Colon trying to get on this fight, as well as is Andreas Andronikou in the 10 truck for Soaring Seagulls. So definitely a better day going so far for the Factory Blue Ovals outfit. As Falconer unable to make his move on Truex, here comes Caleb Evans sending it in on the inside on the 86. And the 53 truck is going to move up into 8th. Cologne and Andrew Niku are now going to try to follow. And Cologne booked in the move, as will Andrew Niku. Caden Lemon now slipping down the inside. So that right there is why the outside is definitely not the preferred line. Can definitely lose a lot of positions, as now Aiden Smith trying to work his way back up through the field. 89 was last scored in 31st, as Jacqueline Concepcion has really fallen off as well in the 05 truck. She was running right around her teammate Freya Iradottir, and now she's running around her other teammate Jared Bedard, except Bedard has still really not made that much progress in his 55 truck. Peter Onjak is looking like he's closing in on lap traffic. It's now 3 seconds out front over Anthony Greenman, so really we're going to need some big changes to happen, because I think the 5 has used up his tires, and really that was the only truck that looked like had a serious chance. Yeah, as you can see on the fastest lap times, Greenman holds the fastest lap, Onjak right there, and then Brandon Morris, the next fastest truck, not really in the same ballpark to these two. But Greenman looks like much harsher on the tires, and that's allowed Onjak to cruise away. But as we saw last week at Darlington for the APCS, really anything can happen with lap traffic. Justin Whitmer was dominating that race, as we see Andrew Niku get under Mina Truex, the 19, now starting to go backwards. But yeah, Justin Whitmer dominating that race, got tangled up in an incident of lap cars that took him out of it from a race that he probably should have won. So anything can happen with lap traffic. as we are a bit past the halfway point in this one. We've still all been green, and it has been Peter Onjak, our Season 1 Cup champion, who has been dominating here. Look down through the field. Here's a side-by-side battle between two Dodgers, two Full Send affiliated teams. Of course, the 42 is Full Send itself, the 06, the affiliate Babylon Motorsports. As the 06 is now being scored in 20th, so currently Hawksworth holding a top 20 spot for the 06 Target Dodge. Though he's got Rhodes Gray and Derek Petty right behind, same with Isaac Davis. Roberto Crown Jr. That 3 truck's really been struggling for a while now. Definitely looks like a few trucks have really burned out their tires. Daniel Sells is all the way back here outside of the top 20, running with the likes of Chris Martins, who really has done nothing but fall back, and Orson Billy and Ricky Freeman Jr. He's another one of our full-time Cup drivers running here in the trucks this weekend, and he's not really made much of an impression. He is currently outside of the top 30, running in 34th position. As Onjak, nearly 4 seconds. He is just checked out of this one. But it looks like we might have a bit of a battle here. Zachary DeLello trying to close in on Lotus Disparito for the 3rd position. And we've got an inter-team battle further back between Brandon Smith and Andreas Andronikou. The 10 truck has really struggled so far this year, but on a forward charge now. Across the line, 10 being scored ahead in the 6th position. Debutant Caden Lemon looks like he's also trying to regroup a bit, as might have tagged the wall there. As Smith got the run off of 2 to clear Andronikou again for 7th, but Lemon, after losing the lead and dropping back, is slowly working his way back up through the field. And Greenman got up in the wall there. So tires look like they're definitely starting to go, as here comes Peter Onjak closing in on lap traffic. First trucks to lap will be Papega, Swab, and Bedard. And it is 4.2 seconds at last check across the line. Another truck, Mina Truex, going to lose another spot to Virago Kitsun. And Nigel Smith, finally putting together a good run for Gasoline Racing, is also up here. As Brendan Morris looks like he's going to try to get by Sean McHale. He books that move in. And here comes Smith now on Truex. Morris thinking about putting him 3 wide. And he will into turn 1. He sends it in. Clipped the apron slightly. What a move there by Brandon Morris. But Smith's now got the run on the outside. And that is for 13th position for Nigel Smith. 14th for Brandon Morris, and Truex down to 15th. As here we go, Jared Bedard is now going to be the first lap truck for Peter Onjak. And he's going to pretty easily dispose of him. Don't think that Bedard is really looking of putting up much of a fight. But first battle he's going to come up on is Swab and Skylar Taylor in the 52 truck. Papega right in this battle as well. So if Greenman can put in some good laps, he could get up there. DeLello has gotten to the back of Disparito. And further back, Andronikou is now battling with the likes of Sustra and Caleb Evans. As is Virago Kitsun. The 66 is another truck that's moving forward. Her teammate, Don Falconer, is looking like he's moving backwards. As battle for third is now officially on. DeLello right on the tail of Disparito, but won't get it done that time. And Onjak looks like he is struggling with this lap traffic. Bedard, Noer, Papega is really yielding And you can get a good run off of 2 on the outside. And looks like that on jack is really able to drive kind of that middle high side through 3 and 4, at least the middle of the corner, but really compromises his run on the exit, and that's kept him on the outside. Anthony Greenman trying to close in, but the 39 and 55 look like they really backed out in the middle of the corner, and on jack is clear. As now here comes Zachary DeLello down the inside of Lotus Disparito. This is for 3rd position. And that position is booked in. So DeLello into 3rd. So despite Dodge not leading, they are currently 2-3. As Onjack now finds himself in a heap of lap traffic. Got Swab, Billion, Parrish as Onjack got on the apron there through 3 and 4, trying to make a move work. Greenman needs to run some good laps, but his truck just does not look like it's got that much power behind it now, as there's a truck on pit road. Is that the 42? Just retired. It is the 42. So that is Seth Morgan out of this race. A header gone on the 42 truck, and that is big for the title. Is now Zachary DeLello, who really started dropping off after the Daytona win, is now, I believe, of those who are really up there, the highest by a good margin, position-wise. And that is also big news for J.R. Bedard, because at least of those really in the title fight right now, he is relatively safe. He's going to finish ahead of Seth Morgan now. As Papega's still giving Onjack some trouble, but he's definitely put a few lap trucks, Billion, Swab, Bedard in between the incoming Anthony Greenman, who still finds himself 3 seconds out. Really, what the leaders need, or the leaders besides Onjack that is a yellow. A yellow that we have not found so far this race. As now Onjack begins working on the 05 truck of Jacqueline Concepcion. 57 of Daniel South has really dropped off after looking good in the early run. He's now battling with Skylar Taylor Concepcion, and there is Onjack third in line. The 14 truck does not seem to like the inside through 3 and 4, and that's where he's been getting put. But Greenman just can't make any inroads. We're going to head to a quick commercial break here as Peter Onjack continues to dominate. We're on lap 60 of 79 here at Rockingham. We are back here on lap 64 of 79, and you have not missed much. Peter Onjack continuing to dominate as Jacqueline Concepcion fires it into the outside wall. 05 really seeming to run out of tires there. And her first start with 555 has not quite gone to plan. As Greenman 3 wide now with teammate Bedard and Sells. Axel LeBay and Lexi Herman can't like that too much, because Greenman has still not been able to make the inroads he needs to. DeLello holding on to third, Disparito still fourth, Sustrai fifth, then it's Smith over the likes of Lemon, or Brandon Smith over the likes of Lemon, then Nigel Smith, Andreas Andronikou, and then Caleb Evans in the 53. Sean McHale going to dive down the inside though. 53 on the high line. We've got some good battling. Brandon Smith now going backwards in the 1 truck. think he got put on the high line by perhaps Caden Lemon. And, ooh, definitely seeing a lot more trucks start sliding around. But I do not believe we are set to see pit stops in this one as Peter Onjak continues to work his way through the lap traffic. Greenman's not had that sort of fortune. So we'll keep our eyes focused on these battles just out inside the top 10. Brandon Smith trying to stay in it. Brandon Morris, Virago Kitson, and Stephen Colon trying to get in it. Derek Petty very wide there in the 18. I think he did avoid the wall, and shout out to Derek Petty actually real quick. This has been a very good run so far for him on debut in USARC. This is his first USARC race, and he is just outside the top 10. As that time around, Brandon Morris held the last spot in the top 10 as Brandon Smith getting put 3 wide. Caleb Evans into the wall. The 53 truck, don't think he sustained any damage, but tough for him. And yeah, no damage on that passenger side. As back up front, Sells diving it down the inside of Carter Swab. Bringing him up the track and is actually going to get 2 positions, trying to get it on Bedard. 3 wide now here. This is pretty far back. Billion shooting the middle of teammate Skylar Taylor and Mika Papega. But there's Peter Onjak as we've taken 10 laps to go. And really, not much can stop him now as Parrish really wide. Yeah. That 14 took the lead early and has just checked out. And this is shaping up to be Onjak's first win overall here in Season 2. As looking back, things have appeared to begin to calm down. Brandon Morris holding the last spot in the top 10. Virago Kitson desperately wanting it. And I'm going to shout out Sean McHale here in the 08. Unsponsored, but has had a very good run so far this season. Morris going to concede 10th to Kitsun. But yeah, that Roadrunner Automotive team still searching for sponsorship. But McHale has been delivering efforts that should indicate that he definitely deserves some, as Bedard almost up into the wall. Zachary DeLello's hit lap traffic. And is actually the one truck that's been struggling big time is Greenman. DeLello looks like he's now right on Greenman and could potentially try to steal second here. If DeLello can clear Taylor here, it will be only him and Papega, or rather Papega, the only lap truck in between them, but that did not happen off of turn 3. Peter Onjak could honestly coast from here and he'll probably still win this race, especially if Greenman and DeLello begin fighting. Greenman still stuck behind another teammate in Jacqueline Concepcion. And now 4.5 laps to go. There is counting your chickens before they hatch, but really, this has been Peter Onjak's race to lose. Absolute domination so far. And there's been no one that has been able to catch that 14 truck. As he's lapped Freya Eredaughter, here he comes on Aiden Smith. 3 to go here from Rockingham. Greenman still has actually dropped off from Billion. It's Crown and Papega between him and third place Zachary DeLello. Greenman driving for 555, DeLello for Triple Five's alliance partner, Navaki Racing. Disparito not really making much inroads on the lap traffic. I think they're just trying to hold on to third place. That's 2 laps to go. Onjack coming up to lap Chris Martins, who they started side by side, have had 2 very different routes to this race. And off turn 4, white flag going to be in the air this time. This is processional lap, nearly 6 seconds back to Anthony Greenman. The Season 1 champ has put on an absolute clinic of how to race here in the Grainger Truck Series. Down the back into turn 3. Gonna be a nice little photo op as the Onjack truck's gonna, or the Onjato truck's gonna cross 1-2, and across the line though it's gonna be Peter Onjack taking the Carolina Dodge Dealers 150 Chevrolet's first win here in the GTS. And he absolutely dominated the field. 25 trucks end up on the lead lap. Onjack wins this one. Greenman holds on to second, DeLello in third, then Disparito, Sustrai, Caden Lemon, Nigel Smith, Andreas Andronikou, Sean McHale, and Virago Kitson, the top 10. Once again, as we look through our full results, just an absolutely dominating performance from Peter Onjack, his first win and the first for Chevrolet here at Rockingham. Then, as we said, Greenland second, DeLello third, Disparito, Sustrai, Lemon, Nigel Smith, Andronikou, McHale, and Kitson the top 10. Pair of Brandons just outside of it. Brandon Morse in 11th, Brandon Smith in 12th, Caleb Evans, Derek Petty, Rhodes Gray, Graham Radval, Stephen Cologne, Don Falconer, Mina Truex, and Isaac Davis, your top 20. Stan Andrews, Jet Hawksworth, Ricky Freeman Jr., Dick Breeding, and Chris Martins, the remaining trucks on the lead lap. Aiden Smith, Freya Aradaughter, Will Parrish, Avidis Davidan, and Austin Scott, the top 30. Jacqueline Concepcion, Orson Billy, and Roberto Crown Jr., Mika Papega, Skylar Taylor, Daniel Sells, J.R. Bedard, and Carter Swab around your finishers. Then it was Seth Morgan and Yekaterina Suleimanova who hit mechanical issues. They were our 2 DNFs. That has been all from Rockingham. Grainger Truck Series returns to action in 2 weeks' time. They have an off week next week, and then it is racing from the streets of Trois-Rivières, our second road course of the year. Until then, thank you for watching the USARC on YouTube.